Now our trainer is with us. Sean P. is with Club Runner. And Sean, I'm going to ask you to get yourself ready with your audio and video. And I will just say a few words about the training, and I'll let Sean introduce himself. First of all, how many of you, by a show of hands in the screen, are currently using Club Runner? Okay, good. Quite a few of you. Even if you're not the person who's responsible for club communications, Club Runner is such a great tool. You can even have an app on your phone, and you can look up members of your club. You can look up members in the district, actually, to learn more about them. So today, Sean with Club Runner is going to talk to us about how to manage your membership information, how to have a Club Runner account to begin with, how to integrate with Rotary International, how to manage your privacy settings, and several other really useful and beneficial tools that all of us can use with Club Runner. So Sean, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and take over the training at this point.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. So I don't have video, but hopefully you guys can hear me. I do have my audio. So
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead. Perfect. Let me set this up. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here. We'll go ahead and get started. Okay, let me know if you guys can see my screen.
It looks good. Yes.
Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first thing we are going to talk about is accessing Club Runner. So there might be a couple ways to access Club Runner. So if the club has their own subscription with Club Runner, which it seems like most of you guys do, the club can log in through the club version of Club Runner. If the club does not, the club can still log in through the district. So to do that, what you'll want to do is you'll want to go to the Rotary7390.org website, which is the district website. And that's going to take you to this website here. So once you come to this homepage, on the very top right, there's going to be a member login link. We'll go ahead and click on that, and that'll take you to the login page. So here, you're going to enter in your login name and your password. If you're not sure about either your login name or your password, you can click either forgot login name or forgot password. It'll take you to the same page, the retrieve login information page, where you can select your club from the dropdown, as well as enter your last name and email address. And when you do that, what'll happen is the system will send you an email with a link that you can use to retrieve that login name and reset your password. So if you're not sure, definitely use this page. And if you forget, not a problem. On our clubrunnersupport.com website, we do have an article. It's called I Cannot Log Into Club Runner, and it'll walk you through those exact steps. So we do have that article.
Sean, can you say that Club Runner support email address again, and I'll type it into the chat?
Yes, yep. So it's clubrunnersupport.com.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Perfect, no problem. So then that's how you would get started and get logged in. So we do have our demo district site that I have set up here. I've cheated a little bit. I'm already logged in. But once you're logged in, on the top right, you'll see there's a member area link. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And you'll see that it takes us into the member area. So first thing we are going to discuss is going to be managing your membership. So when you log in, on the menu bar near the top, you're going to click For Clubs, and we're going to click Membership List. Now, one thing I do want to point out, anything that you are going to be doing as a club executive through the district will be done through this For Clubs tab. So if you are defined as a club executive in Club Runner, you will have access to this For Clubs tab through the district, and you will have access to these links. It is important to note that if the club does have their own version of Club Runner or their own subscription, the access level at the club is different from the access level at the district. So just because you have a level 30 site administrator at the club level doesn't mean that you have that same access at the district. But if you are defined as an executive, you will have access to this For Clubs tab. So now that we've clicked membership lists, we see the active member list. And again, this is just a test account, so all of this is fake information. But we have our active member list here, and on the left, under members, we have active members, other users, and we have inactive member list. So active member is, of course, your list of active and honorary members. The inactive member list is going to be your list of ex-members or people that have been terminated from the club. And the other user list can be used for people that are not necessarily a member of the club, but still need access to Club Runner. So if there's someone who's helping you out with any kind of administration of the club, and they're not really a member of the club, you can add them as another user, and they can log in and help the club as well.
Sean, at this point, when we're talking about, the basics of accessing Club Runner, if somebody forgot their member login and has a different email address, how can they access that information if their email address has changed from when they first started their account?
Good question. So if they still have access to the email address they have on file, they can still use that. If they don't have access to the email address that they have that's set up in Club Runner, what we would recommend doing is contacting either the another club executive or someone from the district who'll be able to go in and update the email address first, and then you can reset the password. So it is very important that that email address is up to date, and you can access it in order to change the password.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So next, we will talk about, let's add a member. So you guys might have noticed that we do have a new option here for adding members. We have this Add New Member Classic, which is the older version of the Add Member form. We're just going to talk about the new version. So I'm going to click Add New Member. And just give that a second to load. And the new Add Member form, it'll look similar, but it does come with a few nice updates that the clubs might find very useful. So first thing you'll notice here, we have the integration options. Right now, because this is just a test account, we don't have integration enabled, but of course you can choose whether or not you want to synchronize this new member up to Rotary International or not. So let's go ahead and add the member. So we can set the membership type. We'll leave it as active. If there's a sponsor, we can select them from the drop-down menu, which is a new enhancement with the new version. Before, you'd have to manually type it in. We'll leave Rotary member number blank, as well as the date joined club. September 14th is fine. Actually, let's do last week. So September 1st. And just to note, anything that's orange here and has the asterisk is required. So let's go ahead and...
Sean, before you leave that section, can you talk about the benefits of clicking on that report this new member to Rotary International or not? What are the benefits of integration options?
Yes, so the benefit of the integration, and we'll talk about setting it up, but rather than entering information in Club Runner and Rotary International, if you have the integration set up, you can add the member through Club Runner and have the system automatically synchronize that up to Rotary International. So the club doesn't have to worry about adding members into both systems. Now we do provide both options to give the club the option to either opt in or out. In most cases, the club will want to opt in to synchronizing that up to Rotary International, but there are some cases where the club might not want to. So for instance, if the club adds a member at Rotary International first, and then adds the member through Club Runner afterwards, we wouldn't want to synchronize that up to Rotary because Rotary already has that member.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so then if we keep going a little bit further, we have our member details. I'll just add in some basic information here, as well as we have our address. We have the option to select home or work. Okay, just put our office here. Ontario, perfect. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we see that there is the login name and temporary password. By default, login name will be first name dot last name dot and then your club's club runner ID, which is different from the club's Rotary ID. And then the temporary password will be the club's club runner ID. So we'll go ahead and disable this. If you do want to send an email notification to the new member to let them know how to reset their password and retrieve their login name, you can keep that enabled. For now, we'll just disable that. And we'll go ahead and click Add Member. And we'll just give it a second here. It is just our test site. Perfect. So now we see our member profile here has been successfully created. Just to show you, let's go back to our 4 clubs. We're going to go back to member lists. I'm going to click the P here so we can filter that out. And we see here is here's the record that we just created. So let's go ahead and click on my name here, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the member profile here. So of course you can update the image here. We also have a few tabs below the image. So we have an area to edit the personal information, which includes your member details, your address information, so both your home and work. And we do have options for custom fields if the club has those set up. Next, on the Rotary tab, we have all of our Rotary specific information. And we also have the club attendance. We have a biography tab, which you can use to enter some more information about yourself, which can be seen, either publicly or privately. So you do have that option there. We also have a commitments tab, which will show you what commitments you currently have. This does take a second to load. It does pull from different areas of the system, but as you can see, if I was registered for events or volunteer tasks, they would all show up here. So a nice, easy way to find out kind of what you've been up to. You can use the commitments tab. On the settings tab, we have our profile specific information. So our access level, which is right now just 70, as well as our login name, and we have the ability to change the password. So if I'm logged into my own account, this link will say change password, and I can change the password. Because I am logged in as an administrator, I can actually reset the password for this member. If I click edit, this edit button on the right, I can actually edit the information on these pages. So as you can see here, right now, because we're logged in through the district, we can't select the club access level. So that goes back to what I mentioned before. The district and the club access level are completely separate. So if you do want to change the access level, it'll have to go through the club, not through the district. So if you do notice that, please make sure you're logging in through the club version. And the last tab on the member profile is the privacy tab. And we'll talk a little bit more about this a little later, but here you can configure your own communication preferences, so you can opt in or out of receiving specific types of emails, as well as we have our search privacy. So you can either opt out or opt in to allow people to search for you. And this works on the mobile app as well. So you can completely customize what information is seen to people of within your club and within the district. So you can control that individually. And if we scroll down to the very bottom, we have our RI integration privacy, which members can actually opt in or out of synchronizing specific information up to Rotary International. So the individual member does have control over that. And that is the member profile. So let's go back to member list.
Sean, I have two questions. I'm not
Yep.
sure if you're going to cover it, but could I just ask them now then?
Yeah, of course.
Somebody has asked, will the Club Runner app on the phone increase functionality to match how it works on a computer?
So the app, we see it more of as a companion, so it's good for information on the go. I'm not sure if we will make it to the extent to have the full functionality of the version that you have on the computer, but we are looking to improve and increase the functionality of the mobile app.
Okay, thanks. And one more question was, so we can find members of our own club through Club Runner and members in our district in different clubs, but can we search and find people who might be in different clubs and districts from around the world using Club Runner?
So with Club Runner, it would be restricted to just within the district. So if you're looking for someone outside of the district, we would not be able to do that at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we've talked about adding and editing members. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to terminate a member. So when we're on the active member list, we can go ahead and click this change status link. And you'll have the option here. So if the club wants to change the membership status, for example, active to honorary, you can do that here. You can change the active member type. So if it's active satellite or active corporate, you can do that as well. We're going to go ahead and just click terminate membership for this member we just created. And once we do that, it'll pull up this page where we can enter in when this member was terminated. So we'll keep it at September 14th, and we can provide a reason for the termination. One thing I do want to note is that if you select duplicate record on Club Runner, you'll notice that at the bottom, we do have the opt-in or out of RI integration. And they're disabled. And the reason why is because when you're terminating a duplicate record on Club Runner, you never want to synchronize that up to Rotary International. So keep that in mind. So we'll go ahead and just click any reason. And again, you do have that same option here. So like I mentioned earlier, if this member is already terminated at Rotary International, the club wouldn't want to terminate and synchronize them up to Rotary International again. So if the member is already terminated at Rotary, all we need to do is terminate in Club Runner, and in that case, we do not want to report the termination to Rotary. But like I said, in most cases, the club will want to report that to Rotary. So I'll go ahead and click terminate member. And if we go to inactive member list and filter by the last name, we can see now the member has been moved to our inactive member list. So it's not completely deleted from the system. It is moved to inactive member list. So if you want, you could still communicate with the member and send them emails if you'd like. So they aren't permanently deleted. So that wraps up our section about membership management. Next is going to be our integration. I'll just give you a second. Do we have any other questions before we move on?
Yeah, I have a question in the chat feature about if the club is not using Club Runner, can someone in the district still search for another person in the district even if their club is not using Club Runner?
If their club is set up through the district and the member is added through the district, then yes, they should be there. As long as the information is available through the district, that information should be available through the app as well.
And past District Governor John Cram has a question. He's an honorary member of another club. Can he access that club's information?
Yes, so if he's added as an honorary member, he'll have a separate login. Again, if the club is set up through Club Runner or the district, they'll have a separate login, which they can use to log in and access the information for that particular club.
I don't see any other questions in the chat feature unless anyone wants to put one in now. We'll let Sean keep going.
Perfect. Okay, we'll continue. Yeah, if the questions keep popping up, just let me know. Okay, so next we will talk about RI integration, kind of what it is and how to set it up. So we do have an article here, again, on our clubrunnersupport.com website called Setup Automatic Integration with Rotary International. This is actually something we are currently reviewing because I know My Rotary recently made some big changes on their end. So the steps might be a little different. There is actually an article that they posted, which you can find through your My Rotary account, which will walk you through the steps on how to enable the integration. So there's kind of two steps to setting it up. The first step is to set it up through My Rotary. The second step would be to enable through Club Runner. So it's important to note that Rotary and Club Runner are separate from each other. So first step we need to do is enable the integration through My Rotary. And another important thing to note when doing that is that only the club president, secretary, or executive secretary or director is able to do that. So if you're defined as one of those positions through Rotary, you should have access to follow these steps here and enable the integration. So I'll just quickly go through this. So when you're in My Rotary, click Home, you go to My Club, and then you're going to edit the club management systems, and you're going to add a vendor. And when you add a vendor, that's where you're going to select Club Runner, and you'll have this option here. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go, that might help. So you'll have vendor access level. So we have view and edit, and we also have view only. So it's really important to note the difference. So view only will allow Club Runner, which is the vendor, to view the information that Rotary International has. So if a change is done through Rotary International, Club Runner can see that, and we can manually pull that information down to Club Runner. If a change is made in Club Runner with the view-only access, the system will not automatically synchronize that up to Rotary International because we can only view the information, we can't edit the information. And that's the difference between view only and view and edit. With view and edit, if I make a change in Club Runner, the system will try to synchronize that up to Rotary International. And you still have that ability to view the information. So if something is done through Rotary International, you can still view that and you can pull that information down into Club Runner.
Sean, there's a question from Adeline. If a club's integration is already enabled, do we need to do it again, or is this just for new accounts?
So this would just be a one-time thing. So if the club has already enabled it, they're already set up, you don't have to do this again. You don't have to do it every year. Once it's set up, the club's good to go. So yeah, that's the important thing to note is a view and edit will allow you to make changes in Club Runner and have that synchronized up to Rotary International, whereas view only allows you to view the information from Rotary. One other thing I do want to point out is that when you do view and edit access, the automatic integration flows only in one direction. So automatic integration works from Club Runner up to Rotary International. So if I make a change in Club Runner, that information will synchronize up to Rotary International. But if I make a change at Rotary International, that information will not automatically synchronize down to Club Runner. We'll have to manually pull it, and we do have tools to do that, which I will show you. So just keep that in mind.
Sean, this question might not be directly related to this content, I'm not sure, but someone's asking how to resolve a member data issue which have 30-day limits for making changes, like the date someone joined.
Okay, that is a good question. We will touch on that a little later, but
Okay.
I will answer that quickly now because we won't go too in depth in it. But the 30-day limit is in place by Rotary. So Rotary requires all new members to be added within 30 days of the join date. So if you're adding a member past the 30 days, what we recommend doing is changing the date joined club to a date within the past 30 days. You can add the member, it should synchronize successfully, and then once that's done, change the dates back in Club Runner to the correct date, and then you're going to send an email to data@rotary.org. So that's their data team. So it's data, D-A-T-A, @rotary.org, and then they'll be able to update the dates on their end.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. So once that is all set up and enabled, you will have this this checkbox in the integration settings. So I'll show you here, although it's not enabled, again, because this is just a test site. But if I go to For Clubs, I can go to the RI integration link here, and it'll take you to the settings. Right now I have this yellow box with no checkbox. That means that I actually haven't set up this account for integration through Rotary International. So I haven't done that first step. Once you have done that first step, you should see this checkbox here. It might take up to 24 hours to show up in Club Runner, but once it does, you can then complete the process by checking this checkbox, and what that'll do is that'll enable the integration through Club Runner. So the club would have completed the first step of setting it up through Rotary, and then checking this checkbox will complete the second step, which is enabling it through Club Runner. Once that's done, there will be additional options that open up on that exact same page. And one of those options is going to be the integration privacy. So you can see here, the club has the option to opt in or out of synchronizing specific information to Rotary. Now, what we recommend the club does in this case is check all of them and save it. The reason why we say that is because, as mentioned earlier, the individual member can go in and either opt in or out of synchronizing specific information. So if the club, for example, opts out of Allow Birthday, no member can synchronize their birthday up to Rotary International. But if this is enabled through the club, and say just me as a member did not want to synchronize my birthday, I can go into my member profile and opt out of that. So in order to give more flexibility, we do recommend that the clubs opt into all of these and then allow the member to opt out of specific information if that's the case.
Quick question.
Yep.
The question is, there's an edit option at Rotary International. Can the individual update the date joined and other information on their own?
Through Rotary International, I'm not sure. We don't have access to the Rotary system, so I would confirm that with Rotary International directly. But I know normally what we recommend doing is just contacting the Rotary data team, and they'll usually update that directly.
So, can the person just go in and edit their own date joined and other information?
In Club Runner, the information can be edited, but it's important to note that the date joined does not synchronize up to Rotary International.
Okay.
Yeah. So that field is specifically view only. So we can pull it from Rotary, but we cannot update Rotary International. So hopefully that answered the question. And then the other setting that opens up here is the Rotary Integration Notification Contact. And this is going to be who receives the email that is automatically sent out by the system when there are any issues detected synchronizing data up to Rotary. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have that covered, we've gone in, we've enabled the integration, we've set up our privacy settings. We can now use that tool that I mentioned a little earlier, which is called the compare and synchronize. So through the district here, under 4 clubs, we have executive compare and synchronize, and we also have RI member synchronization. So for RI member synchronization, I can click it again. It won't show up because we don't have the integration enabled, but this will allow you to view all of the information that Club Runner has and compare it with what Rotary International has. So again, we do have an article here. Let me just scroll up to the top. So it's called How to Use Compare and Synchronize Function. And this is a very, very important tool when you are working with data between Club Runner and Rotary International. So the page will be broken down into kind of 5 main sections. You have your members in sync list, which is ideally where you want all of your members listed. That means that they are correctly linked with their member record in both systems. We have member name mismatches, which means that the member name in Club Runner does not match the member name at Rotary International. We have member type mismatches, which means that the member type is different in both systems. We have members missing in RI, which means there is a member added in Club Runner that has not been added to Rotary. And we have vice versa. So we have the members missing in Club Runner, which means the members added at Rotary, but not in Club Runner. So let's go down. We have a few examples of what the lists would look like. So as you can see here, members in sync, we have our list of members, the IDs, and we can see that all of these members are active members in both systems. So like I said, ideally, all of the members will be listed in members in sync. If there are issues though, they will show up in the corresponding list. So if we scroll down to the next list here, we have member name mismatches. So you can see in the screenshot, we have Jan Smith. And then, so Jan Smith is in Club Runner, and the name at Rotary is Janet Smith. So in this case, Jan might be just a nickname. And what we recommend doing is, let's go to my profile here. So if in this case Jan is the nickname, what we would recommend doing is using this nickname field. So rather than adding Jan as the first name, we can add Janet as the first name and add Jan as the nickname. And that'll ensure that the synchronization is correct. And for the most part, in most areas of Club Runner, if there is a nickname available, the system will reference the nickname rather than the first name. So definitely use that nickname if that is the case. And again, same thing here. We have Dan Backer versus Danny Backer. So definitely use that, that nickname field. If the information in Club Runner is correct and we want to update what Rotary International has, we can use this compare link, which we will talk about shortly. So just keep that in mind that we can use the compare link to push information up to Rotary. So I'm going to scroll down here. We have our member type mismatches. So we have here we have Joe and John. So John here is shown as an honorary member in Club Runner, and under RI is just a regular active member. And we have the opposite here for Jane. So in this case, we can go in, if John is supposed to be an active member, we can go into John's member profile, just like we showed a little earlier, and we can change the membership type to just active rather than honorary. If the membership type is incorrect at Rotary International, what we would recommend doing is logging into your My Rotary account and updating the member type directly through Rotary. So if it's incorrect in Club Runner, we can go in and change the membership type. If it's incorrect at Rotary International, we recommend logging into your My Rotary and changing it directly from there. Next, we have the members missing in RI. So this is a list of members that are added in Club Runner, but not added to Rotary International. And there are some special cases in this list. So before we dive into these three here, I'm going to scroll down, and we're also going to look at members missing in Club Runner. So you'll see here that there are some members that are actually on both lists. So if we look here, Judy Merrill is listed in both members missing in Club Runner and members missing in RI. And what that means is that the Rotary ID that Rotary has given this member, so in this case, it's this 880 number, is not included on the member profile in Club Runner. So the system uses that Rotary ID to link the member record in Club Runner with the member record at Rotary International. So if, just like in this case, Judy does not have a Rotary ID in Club Runner, the system will not be able to make that connection. So while Judy is added in both systems, because the ID is not added to the member profile, the system can't make that connection. So to resolve this, what you'd want to do is open up Judy's member profile like we saw earlier. We go to the Rotary tab, and we're going to paste this Rotary ID into the member profile, and that will resolve that. So be very careful when you see members under members missing in RI or members missing in Club Runner. What we do see happen sometimes, which sometimes causes a little more issues, is if, for example, we'll keep Judy here. A club will see, hey, this member is missing in Club Runner. Let's just click Add Member to Club Runner. And what that'll do is it'll pull the information from Rotary and add a new member record in Club Runner. The problem with that is, in this specific case, Judy already has a member record in Club Runner. We just don't have that Rotary ID to link them. So just be careful when looking through those two lists. If there is a case where the member does need to be added to Rotary International and they're not listed on both lists, you can, of course, click this Add Member to RI. One thing to note, which I know was brought up in a question, is the join date has to be within the past 30 days. If not, it will warn you about that. So Rotary does require the join date to be within the past 30 days. If not, like I mentioned, go back, edit the date, and then synchronize it, and then you'll have to contact Rotary to update the dates on their end. For a member that is added in Rotary but not Club Runner, you can click the Add Member to Club Runner. There's no 30-day restrictions or anything like that when pulling down into Club Runner. So definitely use that option if the member was added at Rotary International first and still needs to be added into Club Runner. Okay, and now I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So I know we talked very briefly, we mentioned that that little compare link. What that compare link will do is it'll actually allow you to push or pull information between Club Runner and Rotary International. So when you click that compare link, you're going to see a page very similar to this. So you have your field information here. We have Club Runner and the information that's in Club Runner, and we also have Rotary International and the information that Rotary has. So using this compare page, we can see that just like I mentioned earlier, Club Runner has the nickname Sue, but Rotary International has Susan. And here in this screenshot, we see there's an arrow. It's kind of orange and it's pointing to the right. That arrow indicates the flow of data. So with the compare page, we're either pushing or we're pulling information. So if this arrow is pointing to the right, that means we're taking information on the left, which is Club Runner, and we're pushing it up to Rotary International on the right. If we did want to change this arrow so that we pull the information on the right, which is Rotary, down into Club Runner, all we have to do is click that arrow and you'll see it'll turn blue and point to the left. So keep that in mind. The arrow does indicate the flow of data. You'll also see that date of birth has this little padlock icon. That indicates that either the member or the club has opted out of synchronizing that information up to Rotary International. So if you see that padlock, if you want to confirm, you can hover over it. It'll tell you that the field's been opted out. You can go in, if it's at the club level, you can go in and opt in. So that's why we do recommend at the club level, under the integration settings, check all of those boxes and save it. That way you won't run into any of these unless the member opts out of synchronizing that information. So when using this page, what you want to do is check the checkboxes for the fields that you want to synchronize. Make sure that the arrows are pointing in the correct direction. And then you'll scroll down to the bottom and you click Synchronize Selected Fields. And that is what will either push or pull the information between both systems. One thing that we do run into fairly often that I do want to make a note of is the email address. So I think the email field is probably the most difficult field to synchronize up to Rotary International, because there are a few restrictions. So the first one is that Rotary requires all email addresses to be unique. So what that means is that here we can see sue@example.com. This email address must be unique to this particular member. No two members can share the same email address. That is also true for the club. So if Sue has this sue@example.com, the club cannot use that same email address. So Rotary, number one, Rotary requires all email addresses to be completely unique. Number two is that the email address is sometimes used as the login for the member's My Rotary account. If the email address is being used as the login, we cannot update that email address through the synchronization process. So if that is the case, if a member is using, so for example, if Sue is using sue@example.com as their My Rotary login, and we come into Club Runner and try to change this to sue2@example.com, that synchronization will not go through because Sue is currently using sue@example.com as their My Rotary login. So in order to fix that, the member can go in, change their login, and then change the email address. So those are the two kind of rules for email changes. So keep that in mind. The email is probably the hardest field to synchronize because there are those additional rules.
Sean, I have a few questions piled up if I can.
Perfect. Yes. Yeah. I figured we get most questions here. Yeah, go for it.
It's really sophisticated information, and you're doing a great job kind of breaking it down. There are a couple questions. One is about emails and scheduled emails, and let's see if I can. So can you talk about using Club Runner, using the email feature of Club Runner and scheduling emails through Club Runner in a real kind of thumbnail sketch? Can you address that?
Yeah, so Club Runner does have the ability to send out emails. One thing I do want to note is that when you're logged in through the district, you do need special access to send out emails through the district. So right now I'm logged into the district. I can click communication and you'll see that email services is disabled. So you do need special access, but if you are at the club level, as long as you're level 70 or higher, which is just a regular member, you can click communication, email services, and you can send your email directly through there. And you do have the ability to schedule an email for a future date. So we do have that option as well.
Okay, thank you. And there's a few people on the call who do not yet have Club Runner. and they're asking a few questions related to launching Club Runner. One, if they're starting Club Runner from scratch, can they get a club list from RI so that they don't have to enter, all the information in? Is there a communication tool that will help them log in all their members?
Yeah, so when a new member or a new club comes online, there's a couple of different options. So if the benefit of if the club is actually keeping up to date with their information through the district, when the club comes online, all of that information will automatically be available through the club. So if the club is maintaining that list through the district, the club won't have to worry about any additional steps to get started. It'll all be there for them. If the club doesn't have any information through the district and they need to import their members, then that is included with our setup of the account. So what the club can do is simply export the information from Rotary International, provide that for us, and then we actually import that into Club Runner for the club.
And you can help a club with those steps.
Yes, we wouldn't be able to help them with actually exporting it from Rotary because we don't have access to Rotary. But once they get the export, they can send that over to us, and then we import those members into Club Runner.
Okay. The final two questions are also about tech support. So, and somebody had asked about cost and then having tech support. Can you talk about what cost people should expect, or where they can go learn about the cost, and then where people can go for tech support once they already have Club Runner?
Of course, yeah, so two great questions. So for pricing information, you can come over to our clubrunner.com website. Go ahead and click on the pricing tab near the top. And Club Runner charges based on a total number of active and honorary members. So you'll want to enter that into here. So if we have, say, 25, we can scroll down and we have our different packages. So we have our standard package, which comes with all of our standard modules. So that would be $31.50 per month, and then the one-time setup fee of $150. If you want to go light, which is reduced functionality in the member area, you get a little bit of a reduced price at $25 per month with a one-time $150 setup fee. And if you want just admin only, which is all of the features in the member area but without the website, then you're looking at $26 per month. So if the club is interested, definitely come onto this page here, the pricing, and enter in the total number of active and honorary members into this field. Another thing I'd note is that if the club is interested at all, you can click this request trial. We have a free, no obligation 30-day trial. So if the club is interested, you can fill out this form. We'll set up a trial account for the club so that you guys can play around with it and get familiar with it. If the club does like it and decides to order, what we'll do is we'll actually take the trial account and we'll convert it into a permanent account, so you don't have to worry about losing any data there as well. In terms of support, so we do have our support team. I am part of the support team here at Club Runner, and if you do want to access our support, again, you can go to clubrunnersupport.com. We have lots of articles, how-to videos, things like that. But if you're still stuck and you're not sure, you can click Start a Support Ticket or Conversation, and this will send us an email directly. So we'll be more than happy to help. We do have phone support as well, but due to, we've been very busy since the new Rotary year, it is a little more limited. So right now, we are recommending that people, if they do have questions, send us an email, and we'll be more than happy to help. Oh, sorry, I think you're muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
We have just under 10 minutes left. Is there any information that you want to still cover, or can we use the time for Q&A?
It's up to you. The last little bit of information I was going to cover was attendance. If you want, I can quickly a couple minutes, I'll go over that, the differences between the district and the club, and then we can take questions. Up to you.
That sounds great. Go ahead. That's
Perfect.
perfect. Thank you.
No problem. So let's quickly go back into here. So when we're talking about attendance, I do want to note that there is a significant difference between the district and the club. So if the club does not have a club runner, then the club will be logging in through the district to enter the attendance. So on the menu bar near the top here, we're going to click attendance, and we'll click monthly club attendance. Another way to get there, like I said, if you go to For Clubs, you can click club attendance report. So like I said, everything you need is in For Clubs. So we'll click club attendance report. And here is where you're going to enter in basic information. So the number of members you have at the end of the month, new members, terminated members, number of meetings, and the attendance percentage. So this is at the district level if you do not have a Club Runner subscription. If the club does have a Club Runner subscription, I would definitely recommend using the attendance module that comes included with Club Runner because you get a lot more flexibility. So with the attendance module at the club level, you can actually create individual meetings, and you can track attendance for each of those individual meetings. And as you track that information, that will also populate automatically the district here. So you don't have to worry about going into two places. The benefit of the club version is also that you can add guests. So you can track any guests that you have. You can track makeups and apply them to different meetings, as well as you have different rules. So your leave of absence, you can excuse members from meetings. So you have a lot more flexibility with the club version. So if the club has the club version of Club Runner, we recommend using that. But if the club does not subscribe to Club Runner, you can still enter your basic attendance information through the district. And then one other thing I do want to note, you can enter in the information here. Just make sure that you click that save button. If you don't click that save button, it won't save. So please make sure you do click that save button. And that was about it.
Great. Sean, you covered a lot of information in a really a relatively short amount of time. Thank you for being so thorough and so detailed and prepared with the examples here. Are there questions that people have that were not answered? Linda Spots had something in the chat feature that I needed more clarification. Linda, do you want to ask that question?
Yes, Una, our club has a Facebook as well as the Club Runner. And I think I was told a year or two ago that we weren't able to link those two together. I mean, in Club Runner.
So what you could do, we do have a few different options of kind of working the Facebook page with Club Runner sort of side by side. If you go to our clubrunnersupport.com and look up Facebook, how do I add a Facebook page plugin? So this is actually, I think within the past month or two, we've added a brand new widget. So if you go to the website designer, you'll now see there's a Facebook page plugin widget, which you can now use. This is an older article. But we do have a new widget that the club can use to add the Facebook feed onto the web page. So it's a great way to, make sure that people who are visiting your website are also interacting with your Facebook page. And to do the opposite, we do have options when you, for example, you create a story. We have a social media share feature. So what you can do is you can enable that. You can share that on Facebook. So that'll help bring viewers from Facebook onto the website, and the Facebook plugin will do the opposite. It'll take viewers from the website over to Facebook. So we do think it's very important to have both of them kind of helping each other out and working together.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's a great new addition, Sean. Thanks.
Perfect. Here we go. This is the one. Sorry, I didn't have the right one. How to add Facebook plugin to homepage or custom page.
Okay, looks great. Does Club Runner have plans to integrate with other social media platforms? Asks President James Good.
At the moment, it is just Facebook. I'm not sure if we're looking at other options. I know that right now, built in, we just have Facebook, but if you can get embed code from other social media platforms, so whether that be Twitter or Instagram, I know I've seen a club, I can't remember which club it was. They've actually integrated the Instagram feed on their page. So out of the box with Club Runner, there might not be an easy way to do it, but if you can get that embed code from Instagram or from Twitter, you can definitely include that on the website.
Great. Well, Sean, I'd like to thank you on behalf of District 7390, our District Governor, John Anthony, and I know you work with Melissa often, and I thank you so much for your training today and all the support that you've given to the district in the past few years. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. And like I said, if you guys do have any questions, any follow-up questions or anything like that, you can definitely go to our clubrunnersupport.com website, send us an email. We're always more than happy to help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Take care.
Take care, Sean.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And to our group that remains here, we have the next district development training session on October 12th. It's the second Tuesday of the month, and the topic will be on fundraising, and I'll be the presenter next month. And hopefully we can have a very robust conversation about fundraising ideas and things that we can do club-wise and throughout the district to support all the great work that we're doing in Rotary. So I hope to see you all next month. Don't forget to register for October 12th. I'll put the information up on Facebook, and I'm sure we'll have Melissa send it out through the district very quickly. Thank you all so much for participating.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.